the 2014 Open Arms Always Veterans Appreciation Dinner.
Hey everybody, if I might have your attention please, we're going to call this meeting to order, the third annual Veterans Appreciation Dinner. And, pardon me?
Turn the mic on.
It is on. Well, then you better just move in closer, Ruth. Okay. All right, now, as we do in every meeting, I don't even see him here, but we asked that our services coordinator, Glenn Casson, lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Is there a Glenn? All right, everyone.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Eileen has been working tirelessly as an advocate for the Veterans Treatment Court, and yeah, traffic problems here. Here you go, Eileen.
Hello, and thank you all for coming today. When we first came up with this idea, and the people we approached, it was like pushing a truck uphill. And I would like to say that a year has passed and a lot has changed. We are no longer pushing this truck uphill. We had a meeting on March 26th at the Claremont County Courthouse. Darren Miller, oh sorry, can you hear me? Darren Miller over there, I would like you to stand up, please. He's with the County Prosecutor's Office. He's been working on the county end very hard to put this meeting together. Darren is also a veteran. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
This meeting was presided over by Judge Brock, who is the administrator. Present was Judge Miles and Judge Pattison, Darren Miller, prosecutor, Stephanie Borer, court administrator, Joe Ellison, head of probation, Tim Rudd, clerk of courts, and Ron Michelson of Veterans Justice Outreach, and me representing Open Arms Always. One of the things that struck me when I arrived there was everybody else was thanking the other people for being present and supporting this cause. Ron Michelson started the meeting by informing the group what the goals of his department included: improving access to veteran services, reducing the backlog of veterans waiting for benefits, and ending veterans' homelessness. His duties are to attend court procedures, make referrals to services, and provide training to law enforcement. He discussed many of the veteran services available to the veterans served by the Cincinnati VA. Joe Ellison, who has worked with Ron, took time to thank him for his cooperation on shared cases in the past and his assistance in navigating programs for veterans. He has utilized many services and thanked Ron for the good job he has been doing. Judge Brock reported that when he has a veteran offender in his court, he has referred them to the VA for treatment and services. The other judges there agreed that they followed the same procedure. Judge Brock asked me to speak towards the end of the meeting, and I was able to tell them that Open Arms Always has a membership of veterans and non-veterans alike, all who have the goal of providing support for the veterans in any way that we can. Number two, we are soliciting volunteers to help mentor veterans who are going through treatment. And number three, we actively cultivate relationships with Brad Wenstrup, Joe Eaker, and other members of law-making bodies to further the cause of Veterans Treatment Court and any other programs to assist the veterans. In addition, on my way out, I was introduced to Lori Vining from the Public Defender's Office, who expressed interest and support for our efforts and indicated that she would like to be involved in the future. So there's the treatment team right there, and it's a very positive thing. Thank you.
Very good. David, would you come forward, please? At this time, our advocate for the Veterans Farming Program, David Casson, will bring you up to speed on what's going on with them. And even though this program has going to be in progress and a work of love and hard work for over a year. David has been working very hard, and so here's David.
With the Ohio Veterans Program, it is true, it's going to take a little bit of time. I wish we could start it like yesterday. If you're not familiar with the program, what this is designed for is for past, present, and future veterans. What they do, a lot of people have come out of the service with physical disabilities, loss of legs, loss of arms. There's also been, of course, post-traumatic stress disorders, traumatic brain injuries, and things of that nature. So what we want to do is work with the local farmers here in the state of Ohio to help rehabilitate and help educate some of our soldiers that have come back with different injuries. It is therapeutic. If you ever get a chance to go online and pull up YouTube, type in veteran farming, and you'll see there's about 3 organizations out there currently that are doing kind of like what we're doing now, but we're going for the state. We're not doing it as a sole entity. Open Arms Always, of course, is our parent, and this is one of the programs here with Open Arms that we have, along with the Veterans Treatment Court. We also have the Ohio Veterans Farming Program. It's communities working together with local soldiers. Soldiers may be in the city, they may be in the suburbs. There's all kinds of new potential that can happen. Some of these gentlemen may come back and become farmers themselves. If you're unaware, the USDA did put a report out that we are short by 1 million farmers in the country. 1 million farmers were short. And of course, you know, each day goes by, that number's getting bigger. So we ask for any volunteers, any supports, or any thoughts or opinions. Please contact us on Open Arms website at openarmsalways.org. And I would love to talk to each and every one of you that may have an interest in this program as well. With that, I'll go ahead and turn this over to Bubp. Thanks.
Thank you, David. Very good. So at this time, I would like everyone to please stand and state your name, because this is a much larger meeting than we normally have. This is usually like a family reunion where only the good guys show up, but now we've got a bigger family reunion with all the great guys showing up. So let me start over. Oh, come on. Just stand up and just say your name, and then the lady next to you, and just go right down the line.
Dory Perkins.
Thank you.
Rosemary Ritter. Bonnie Warren.
Very good.
Bob Lawrence.
That's what.
Very good.
Diana Lawrence.
Very good.
Rebecca Adamson.
Steve Adamson. Wayne Yates.
Very good.
Brian Durham.
Brian Durham.
Rufus Walsh.
Gillette. Sandra Reeder. Gail Vogel.
Drew Vogel. David Casson. Lindsay Casson.
Lindsay Casson.
Matthew Gates.
Reggie Bauer. Sherry Brown. Eileen Sippel.
Jerry Sippel.
Liz Smith.
Bill Smith.
Stephanie Thorne. Elizabeth Thorne McKenzie.
Darren Miller. Glenn McKenzie. Jeff Hugh Cutter.
Joyce Clyde. Amy Wilkerson.
Matt McKenzie.
Melody McKenzie.
Bill Myers. Tim Lyon. Steve Burkhart.
Tim Bacon.
Dale Grable.
Jim Johnston,
Dave Johnson.
James.
Josh Black,
Karen Woodruff.
Barry Woodruff,
Lucy Beckle.
Robert Beckdove,
Beverly Cheney.
Andrew Bartness,
Sandy Gilligan.
Jack Scott.
Danny Bubp.
Doug Green.
Okay, I think everybody, thank you. Actually, Dr. Brad Wenstrup visited Diane and Bob Lawrence's True Box Ministries, and he actually asked Diana, who are these crazy open arms people? I'd really like to talk to them. And she said, well, I'm a member, so I'll see what I can do. So we've been working hard with Annie Wilkerson and Casey, and got this wired together. Today's event, Sandy and I have been working on this for about 7 weeks now. So at any rate, it's all coming together, and we also have amongst the guests today, our Colonel Danny Bubp will be recognized, and also amongst our guests today, there is a second certificate of appreciation that will be awarded. The award is to Canine Officer Hassan. He is retired, and Sergeant Dave Johnson is here to accept the award, and also the gift that Hassan's going to receive. And when it came to our house, I told my wife, well, I want one of them too. So, Dave, would you like to say a couple of words, please?
It's Bob's bit.
I'd just like to thank everybody on Hassan's behalf. He's in the van. If I could bring him in and let you guys meet him. He spent a lot of nights on the road with me catching bad guys. And he definitely put his time in. He's about 11 years old now. He's enjoying retirement. And I just want to thank everybody for the reward that you guys are giving him, the certificate.
Dave, on behalf of Open Arms Always.
Okay, thank you very much.
And this is for Hassan because Hassan has suffered some arthritis, just like most of us have. And when this got to the house, and I opened it, I said, Sandy, I want one. She said, you can't have it, it's for Hassan. So, you better take it.
Okay, thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
Very welcome. God bless all. Representative Doug Green, if you would like at this time to present a medley of the 4 major branches of the service. As Doug performs these, sings these, I would ask that everybody in that particular branch of the service that he's celebrating and singing about to please rise and stand while your branch of service is recognized. All right, Doug?
And Bob, I added the 5th. All right. Over hill, we will hit the dusty trail, and those Texans go rolling along. In and out, hit and shout, now we're marching all about, and those Texans go rolling along. For it's high, he in the field of liberty. Shout out your numbers loud and strong, and wherever you go, you always know that those Texans go rolling along. The Marines, from the halls of mountains to the shores of Tripoli, we will fight our country's battles in the air of land and sea. First to fight for right and freedom, and to keep our honor clean. We are proud to claim the title of United States Marines. The Navy. Anchors away, my boys. Anchors away. Farewell to college joys. We sail at break of day. Through our last night on shore, hail to the fall. you a happy voyage home. The United States Coast Guard. We're always ready for the call. We place our trust in thee. Through the surf and storm and howling gale, I shall our purpose be. Semper Paratus is our guide, our fame, our glory too. To fight, to save, or fight and die. Hey, Coast Guard, we are for you. United States Air Force, off we go into the wild blue yonder, climbing high into the sun. Here they come, soon to meet our thunder. Attaboys, give 'em the gun. Down we dive, spouting our flame from under. Off with one terrible roar. We live in fame, we'll go down in flame, 'cause nothing can stop the U.S. Air Force. Thank you, military, and give them all a hand.
Thank you, Doug, and God bless every one of you for your service. At this time, our esteemed treasurer, Zach Scott, has a presentation to make.
The Open Arms always is sending a check for $150 to Wounded Warrior in honor of and in memory of Zach Adamson, and that's his parents, Steve and Becky over there. And I'm going to have Danny Bubp read the military record of Zach.
You know, something that Bob said really resonated with me. In this room today, we have family. And I think that those that have served understand how much we on active duty have appreciated the support of family. And today we have the parents of Zachary Daniel Adamson with us. I've not met them yet. I look forward to that. But Zach did a lot in a very short time. I've been provided with his obituary that was in the newspaper. Zach was the United States Iraqi Freedom and Operation Enduring Freedom war veteran, where he earned several medals, including the Joint Service Commendation Medal, the Army Achievement Medal, the Army Good Conduct Medal, the National Defense Service Medal, the Afghanistan Campaign Medal with 2 campaign stars, Global War on Terrorism Service Medal, the Iraq Campaign Medal with campaign star, Army Service Ribbon. Zach unselfishly served 4 years and 10 months on active duty with the United States Army. He served with distinction as an airborne ranger in the United States Army, including 1 tour in Iraq and 3 tours in Afghanistan. All of this in 4 years and 10 months of service. A great American.
Thank you, Danny. And all we can say is God bless the Adamsons and Zach. And at this time, I would ask that Sherry Brown come forward, and we're going to present the Fallen Soldiers Table ceremony. And I ask that we all dedicate this to Zach Adamson, and also the people at Fort Hood who we lost this last week. So, and with that, I give you Sherry, who is also a Navy veteran. Here's Sherry Brown. Your program has a copy of this ceremony.
The Fallen Soldiers Table. The table is reserved to honor the missing loved ones. It symbolizes that they are attending in spirit, that they should never be forgotten. And the table is set as follows. The table is round to show everlasting concern for those missing and fallen comrades. The tablecloth is white, symbolizing the purity of their motives when answering the call to duty and the purity of America. A single rose in a vase reminds us of the blood given, the life of each of the missing, and the family, friends, and loved ones that miss them daily. The vase is tied with a red ribbon, a symbol of continued determination to remember our fallen, account for our missing, and display the patriotism that is America. A slice of lemon on the bread plate is to remind us of the bitter fate of those who will never return. A pinch of salt symbolizes the tears endured by families of those who have fallen or have not returned. The Bible represents the strength gained through faith to sustain those lost and to find peace. The candle is reminiscent of the light of hope, which lives on in one's heart, the light of America, which will always be the light in the world of darkness. The glass is inverted. It symbolizes their inability to share this evening's toast. The chair is empty. They are missing. They are not with us. During the ceremony, all are asked to stand and raise their glass. Do not drink, as all toast friends, family, and countrymen who cannot be there. And please remain standing for the playing of taps.
I now give you Colonel Danny Bubp, United States Marine Corps, 30 years retired. Here's Danny.
Well, Saturday afternoon, so much to do because most of us work through the week. But I couldn't think of a better place to be this afternoon than right here in Mount Orr at Lake Manor Restaurant with others that feel the same way I do about our military. And especially to come together with others that know about sacrifice. And it was appropriate to have a law enforcement officer here to receive an award. You know, we talk about freedom, and our military provides us with that freedom, and really that's the most important thing I think perhaps that we have. and our law enforcement guys do the same thing. Now, how about these two law enforcement guys up here with these haircuts? Are those good haircuts or what? Well, come on, how about a hand for these law enforcement guys with haircuts? Yeah, Josh Black was just telling me, I was bragging on, he says, yeah, it's getting a little long. You know, I'm not sure that there's enough that we can do for our veterans. And I've said this before, why do we have to have groups like Open Arms Always and Wounded Warrior Foundation and all the others, and there's a lot of them out there. Why is that? Why doesn't our government take care of our veterans like they should?
Amen.
You know, all right, who said that? All right, stand up, young lady.
Tell everybody what you just said.
The government takes care of everybody else, why not our veterans?
Wow.
Loaded.
You know, that follows up something I was just talking about this morning in an interview about the entitlement mentality we have now in America.
Amen.
It seems as if we're trying to take care of everybody, and a lot of them aren't pulling their load. But boy, we got fellows and guys and gals that are doing more than their fair share. How about a young man that was 24 years old, served on active duty 4 years and 10 months, 3 tours of duty in Afghanistan, 1 tour of duty in Iraq. Talk about doing more than his share. You know, today is a day that we can come together here and pause from our daily lives and share in the sacrifice of so many. And I like spending time with veterans. You see guys with their hats on like a Korea War veteran back here. I think you were in the Navy, sir? Boy, he quickly corrected that, didn't he? That didn't take long. But, you know, it's good to be around veterans. I look back there in the back of the room. Flynn McKenzie, stand up. Now look at this young man. Look at that face. I mean, what's that on his face? In 2008, in a place called Ramadi, Al-Anbar Province, Iraq, I had the opportunity to spend some time with that young man. Back then, I was Lance Corporal Flynn McKenzie, United States Marine Corps. He was assigned to a personal security detail for a company commander in one of the infantry companies the Marine Corps had over there, making sure that the Iraqi people were experiencing the same thing that we have, and that's freedom. And that young man did his part over there. Good to see you, Flynn. Yeah, get a shake. Government can do right things, and then government can do things that are not so right. But today, the same place where Flynn McKenzie and I served over there, I was there for about a year in Iraq, in Al-Anbar Province, Fallujah, and Ramadi. Those 2 places now are flying a different flag than when we were there. And it was the Iraqi flag when we were there. It's called Al-Qaeda flag now. Been following that on the news, how the Iraqis are trying to take Fallujah back from Al-Qaeda. And it's sad, isn't it? And all the blood, all the sweat and tears that we shed over there, and now it's back in control of the bad guys. And Afghanistan, we've still got over 50,000 men and women there. And they did make a note last month. It was a notable month. No Americans were killed in Afghanistan. How many Americans were killed in Afghanistan in June, July, August, December of last year? Nobody knows. It's not on the news anymore.
Amen.
And it's unfortunate. But we've got people in harm's way, and we need to remember that. And today we come here and I appreciate being selected to receive this award. But I will tell you, Bill Hartman's back here. Bill, stand up if you can. That guy's 90 years old. Look at him. Doesn't look a day over 89, does it? Bill was our 2013 Veteran of the Year, and the gentleman that received it in 2012, is it, what's that name?
Peter Lansing.
Is he here?
No.
Okay, all right, and then Bill, I appreciate you being here today. Bill's from up at Fayetteville, but he was a Marine, World War II Marine. And then I'll tell you this other guy, stand up over here, Bob Bechtel. Look at this uniform on this young man. Now, stand up, sit down. I do that because he's 90 years old. Let's see how long he can stand.
Not long.
Not long. Now, he just came from a funeral they had for a Marine down in Claremont County. But Bob Bechtel just turned 90 on March 16th, 18th. And did anybody see the article I put in the paper, the picture of him? Anybody see that in the Brown County Press? Where's the editor of the Brown County Press?
Published it.
Yeah. Do you remember what it said? Do you remember what it said? Come on around here. This is Wayne Gates, and Wayne's the editor, publisher of the Brown County Press, and so Wayne knows what he put in there. He loves putting, anybody want to put an ad in the paper? He only charges like $60. But anyway, come with that ad for Staff Sergeant Robert Bechtel said.
Listen to it.
Well, we had to talk about his service. He's obviously a World War II vet, but we also...
No, wait a minute, obviously.
He's 90, I can do the math.
You still look at him.
He doesn't look a day over 70.
Oh!
Yeah, Bill's a day over 89. But that was you.
Man that works with words.
Anyway, you decided that you wanted to yank his chain just a little bit.
Oh!
That was your idea. But World War II vet, World War I vet, and Civil War Youth Corps.
Somebody put it in the paper that he was a World War II vet, a Korean vet, and a Civil War. He served in the Civil War in the Youth Corps. Oh, that's just so mean, isn't it, Mom? All right, sit down now. Look at me.
I'm not good at it.
Where's that congressman at? Where's the 5 miles out? Huh?
Is that an order, sir?
Anyway, listen, I appreciate everybody coming here today. I appreciate being considered for this. I understand that nobody's going to say anything. They've got in there, what's that say, Barry, in that schedule there? It says roast or something.
Did they give you one?
Yeah.
It says,
What's that say?
Toast or roast?
we're not roasting anything. Some people got their food over here. So anyway, listen, thanks for coming today. Barry, you got anything you want to say on behalf of Brown County?
Glad to be here. Glad to know you. I'll tell you one thing about this guy. We were in a parade in Ripley. We've been in several parades. But this guy can remember names like no one I've ever met. He's a politician. That's probably why I'll be one and done, because I can't remember names of anybody. I never forget a face, but he would go down the road, how you doing, Joe? And I said, well, who's that guy? Oh, he runs a shop over here. He knows their name, what they do, the kids, what they've done.
That's enough.
Thank you. Hey, listen, we live in the greatest country in the world. And you look at this here that the young lady just read there, and you talk about the items there and what each symbol stands for. I'm afraid that people are forgetting about something called the Bible.
Amen.
And you look at what's going on in Washington, D.C., and even to a certain extent in Columbus. we need to remember that this country was founded by Christian men and women that believed in the Bible, what it says. And that down there toward the bottom where it talks about the candle, I truly believe this, that America is the only hope that this world has.
Yes.
No other country has ever served their fellow mankind like our country has. In our country, the young men and women that make up the military, they go all over the world and they fight and they die to provide freedom. And we don't try and force those people to live like us or be like us or anything. But you know, like even Iraq, the people there, they crave freedom. And the same in Afghanistan. Just don't, have tyrants and running them and everything. But America is truly the last great hope for the world. And right now, I fear that we've got a lot of problems. But you know what? I'm hopeful for the future. I think that as long as we believe in those founding principles of what this country was created for, we're going to be okay, because we've got young men and women just like Zach that are out there that want to serve. I'm getting too old to continue to serve. I know, Bob, you'd like to go back and serve, but you and Bill Herdman are just a little getting out up there where it's like, no, okay, I see your biceps here.
You got to remember about our World War II vets. You give them an M1 and enough ammunition, they're going to be exactly where you left them when you go back.
And I'll tell you, I'll never forget some of the comments made. People say that America trying to take over the world, and boy, comments like, hey, the only thing we ever asked for is ground to bury our dead. And then that's the truth. When I was overseas, the only thing I wanted to do was one thing. Get home. That's all. We don't want to stay anywhere, do we? We want to come back home. And I pray that this government can do that. We can bring all of our guys home. And, and then be ready. Be ready to serve and protect, just like we've done in the past, and make sure that we try and have stability in the world. Now, how far is he out now?
Coming down 68 now.
All right. Well, Bob Liming, I'm going to give you this microphone back. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate everybody coming together. And God bless America.
Steve, and in light of the fact that you are today's honoree, this is your certificate of appreciation from Open Arms Always. Yeah, we want to get the press up here.
Hey, is my hair straight?
Okay, I'm sure that's going to show up on somebody's
my last
Facebook.
name's spelled right.
Hey, I'll tell you what, the guy that makes up not only our certificate of appreciation, he himself is not a vet, but he's responsible for our sign-in sheets, our business cards, our membership cards, everything. And Sandy and I have been kind of in a quandary because in December, traditionally, we have the Toys for Tots in conjunction with the Marine Corps, and we give certificates of appreciation for those who throughout the year have done notable work for us and show our recognition. And so I asked Sandy, I said, how are we going to give a certificate of appreciation to the guy that's printing the certificates of appreciation? So I haven't figured that out yet, but I got until December to do it. Now, in light of the fact that Dr. Wenstrup is Coming down 68, well, it's too early to be behind a combine, so it shouldn't be much later. And if there's anybody that has a roast or toast, okay.
I handed Bob a note a little bit ago before Danny started talking, and I said, this is pretty amazing. We got all these guys here from all these different branches of service and not one fight. And Danny gets up and he tries to pick 2 or 3 out of it.
Okay, and in light of that fact, Danny, there are a couple of small tokens of our appreciation for you.
Is it hair? All right. Hair product.
There's some of that expensive coffee, yeah. All right, good deal. What else you got in here, Bob?
Take a look.
Oh, if you got a coffee, you've got to have a coffee mug. Oh, look at that.
All right. Congratulations. You're very welcome, Danny. And this time I would like to ask Sergeant Dave if you would like to bring us on in to meet the people, or do you think it's too confusing for him? It's your call.
Hey, if the restaurant doesn't mind me bringing them in to see you guys, I'll do it.
I'd love to be.
Bring him in the side door.
Right here. Here's the door. Right here.
Never seen home.
We'll let you back in.
Tell the doctor.
Burpee, sirs. Thank you.
Well, we're waiting for Dave to come in with us on. I'll tell you a little brief story. One of our other attendees today, Jackie, also trains canines for the police, for the military, and one day she was training them, and in the run, in the jog that they run miles a day, she lost her Bluetooth. So she got back to the to base, and the next day she took us on, remember is now retired, on that same trail, and he's moving down the trail with her, and then all of a sudden he stops, and he sits down, and he's got his nose down, and he's pointing at her Bluetooth.
You can't hear anymore. He's got a song worked the road with me for probably about 8 years. And this guy is probably the trackingest dog in the world. That's all right. His history of tracking bad guys is unbelievable. He probably ran about 85% of actual tracking and hands-on bad guys. He has a brain tumor now. He can't hear at all. That just came up out of the blue for some reason. He was looking for his ball one day, and I was saying his name, and he wasn't paying any attention to me, and I thought, what in the world's wrong with him? So the only thing Dr. Norvell can figure is he's got a brain tumor that's putting pressure on the part of his head that reflecting his hearing. He still finds dope well. He can still track bad guys, use his nose, but he can't hear anything, so can't use him on the road anymore. And unfortunately, we didn't get to replace him because of the budget and everything. I guess they're not replacing the dogs at the office, so we don't have any dogs on the road anymore. He's one of the last ones. I don't know if everybody can see him or not. He's a pretty good sized dog he came from Czechoslovakia. All of his commands are in Czech. Fortunately, I run my own company training police dogs also, so I still get to work with dogs every day of my life. About 37 years of it for myself, working with police dogs, either in the military or law enforcement.
Does he live with you now?
Pardon me?
Does he live with you?
He's always lived with me, yes, yes. All of our dogs, the dogs typically live with the handlers. They stay at home with them.
And even after they retire, you keep?
Even after they retire, the handlers are afforded the opportunity to purchase a dog for like $1, I think it is, once they retire. They're kind of like military dogs, you know, you can only place them in certain homes. He's been a good dog for the public and for myself. He's been one of the best dogs I've ever worked.
Beautiful.
Haven't you, buddy? Yeah.
Beautiful baby.
He's
Thank you, Dave.
good companion. Okay, thank you guys.
Wonderful.
We're very privileged now to have in attendance Dr. Ray Wenstrup, Congressman from the 2nd District of Ohio.
I apologize for being late, but it's good to see everyone here today, and it's an honor to be here, and I want to thank you all for what you do. I was asked to talk a little bit today about our amazing all-volunteer force, and I wanted to talk about that and the families that support them. Because, you know, the sacrifices of loved ones are so great during our times of need when we deploy our soldiers. And you know, there are times when you're deployed, and I'm sure Colonel Bubp will tell you, that there are times when you do find a way to laugh, and you find a way to enjoy yourself. But for those at home, it's 24/7, constantly trying to think about what's going on with your loved one that's serving overseas and putting themselves in danger. You know, volunteerism is what America is all about, and you're so much a part of that. When I was in Iraq, we had a program we set up called Operation Goodwill Gifts. My sister had called me one time. She said, "Do you need anything?" And I said, "You know, I wear the same clothes every day and we're getting fed, so I really don't, but the people here have nothing." And with that, she started getting the word out, and from churches and volunteer groups all across the area, we would get tons of boxes. We got mail once a week, and we would get boxes stacked to the ceiling, just so we could give school supplies and toys and clothing and hygiene products to the people in the area. That's who we are as Americans. There's a book called Faith of the American Soldier, and it's about how American soldiers in Iraq would get together and pray. And it wasn't always a formal setting, but they would get together and pray. And there was a part from that book that really struck me, and it was about a soldier that was coming home from the war, and they were at the Baghdad airport, and he began to cry. One of his friends said, "Why are you crying? We're going home." He said, "Because I don't think we'll ever be able to do as much for other people in our lives as we have done here." That is what it means to serve. That's what it means to volunteer. You know, Roberto Clemente, the Hall of Fame baseball player, he died in a plane crash on his way to Nicaragua trying to bring relief to the people there. He was once quoted as saying, "If you have the chance to make life better for others and you fail to do so, you've wasted your time on earth." And through our service and your volunteerism, we have seen so many people that have not wasted their time on earth. I want to tell you quickly about my sister-in-law, Melanie Wick. Melanie started a school just north of Cincinnati, a grade school, with her father and several others. And at that school, she was not only a teacher there, but also an administrator. She devoted so much of her time to others. Sadly, we lost Melanie last week to cancer at age 50. The day after she died, her son got word that he was admitted to West Point. And he came and he showed me on his phone the email he got telling him that he would be contacted, that he was accepted. And in all his maturity as a senior in high school, he said, "Mom made that happen. Mom did that." But this is the type of young man, this is the type of people that we have in our country that are willing to step up and willing to serve their country. And we should be so proud. I don't know that there's any other nation on earth that has so many that are so willing to give, and it's not just those in uniform, it's all of you. Tell you a few stories that have come my way since my service. One is about Army Chaplain Timothy Bakich. Timothy Bakich was a chaplain in Iraq, and he kept going out with the troops because he wanted to be there with them. He could have stayed back on the base, but he went out there with them. He wanted to be there at their greatest time of need. And in 2004, he was hit by an IED and severely wounded, brain damage. In 2009, he succumbed to his wounds. Before he was ever hurt, somebody asked him, "Why do you always go out there with these guys? Why do you put yourself in harm's way like that?" And he said, "I think the safest place for me to be is in the center of God's will. And if that's in the line of fire, then that's where I'll be." We have such great examples. Stationed on our base was Staff Sergeant James McNaughton. James McNaughton was a military policeman, a reservist, a New York City cop, and one day he and two other sergeants were being tasked with a mission that was going to be dangerous, and one of them had to go on that mission. James McNaughton volunteered over the other two because they had children. He was killed by a sniper on that mission, and today there's two families that have their father because of James McNaughton. And I had the chance to tell that story on Fox News, and a couple days later, I got a phone call from James McNaughton's father, who said, "Thank you for remembering my son in that way. Thank you. We were so shocked to hear his name." We don't honor our heroes enough in our country today. And he's one of them. He's one of many. I'm sure Colonel Bubp can tell you many as well. Tell you about my friend Major John Pryor. John Pryor, MD, trauma surgeon from Pennsylvania, and from Philadelphia. And on 9/11, when he saw that his country was under attack, he got in his car, said goodbye to his wife and kids, and he drove to Ground Zero and started helping people. In 2004, he joined the Army Reserve because he wanted to do more for those that were protecting us. And truthfully, he said, "I'm in Philadelphia where I'm taking care of people that are shooting themselves up in the street over drugs. Why shouldn't I be helping the troops?" And we served together in Iraq. When we came back, we did a trauma conference in Cincinnati. John went back to Iraq, and on Christmas Day in 2008, after attending church service, he stepped out and was hit by a mortar and killed. What was more amazing about John's story is who he was, but who he thought he should be. He had a quote above his desk by Albert Schweitzer that said, "Seek always to do something good somewhere. Give some time to your fellow man. Something for which you get no pay but the privilege of doing it. For remember, you don't live in a world all your own. Your brothers are here too." And when we talk about these people, I think of the words from a song we've sung so many times. "Who more than self thy country love, in mercy more than life." Because these are the people, as the quote goes, and I believe it's an anonymous quote, it says, "They were what others cared not to be, and they went where others feared to go, and they did what others failed to do. And they asked nothing from those that gave nothing." Well, we're fortunate to have someone right here today, a gentleman that has given so much of himself, has been honored here today. He served in the Sheriff's Department. He's been in security, in intelligence, in a law practice. He's been a magistrate, a judge, a state rep, and on countless community boards. And in 1978, he was commissioned as a second lieutenant in the Marines and retired a full board colonel in 2009. He attended Naval War College, and let me tell you, that is not an easy thing to do. In 2003, he served under General Tommy Franks, the U.S. Central Command in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom. And again in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom, he served in Ramadi and Fallujah. And I can tell you, somebody who's been there, those were not fun places to be. And God bless him for serving there. Amongst his many awards, he's received the Legion of Merit Award, Meritorious Service Medal, the Joint Service Commendation Medal, the Navy and Marine Corps Commendation Medal, and the Army Commendation Medal. I think he's covered it all. And over the years, when you've been able to go to bed at night and you feel safe and secure and unafraid, It's because of patriots, selfless servants like Colonel Danny Bubp.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I have not been able to contact Danny Bupp's family to get some biography on Danny. So thanks to Colonel Brad Wenstrup for enlightening us on just the accomplishments that Dano has done in his career, and it makes every one of us stronger just to have the privilege of saying we've met him. So at this time I would like to ask once more for Miss Sherry Brown to come up and attend the Fallen Soldiers table. As she passes your table, please rise. She will then arrive at the table, extinguish the candle, and present the rose to Colonel Danny Bubp. And Representative Doug Green will sing the Lord's Prayer.
Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we
Thank you, Doug Green. Okay. And with that,
Hey, Bob,
yes.
would it be okay if Colonel Wenstrup and myself presented this flower to Mr. and Mrs. Adamson?
Certainly.
Would everybody have a seat, please? Here that has experienced the depth of sorrow, the greatest loss that any of us could ever imagine. And I can't think of anything we can do to try and assuage that loss, but to remember Zach. And perhaps as we gathered around that table over there and remember those that have not returned, this flower I'd like to present to you on behalf of a grateful nation for your son and for his sacrifice and for what he's done for all of us.
Sorry.
Thank you. God bless you.
Okay, guys, at this time we normally adjourn, and then remember we always have the meeting after the meeting where everybody questions and asks and swap lies and has a good time. And if you haven't ordered anything to eat, you may do so at this time. But as somebody just muttered about Navy, I want to remind people, and some of you don't have email, which is a shame at certain moments when something comes across my desk. I believe it was just this past week, maybe Monday, it was early on. I received an email and it was simply a photograph. And this is referencing back to what Representative Green, Doug, and Brad have all said about our servicemen and prayers and helping people. And it's a simple one picture, and above it it's captioned, "A little girl in a foreign country prays, dear God, send some angels from above to protect my family from evil." And then you look at the picture, and it's a Navy SEAL, full dress, full-blown gear, doing a high-altitude, low-opening parachute jump, and at the bottom it says, ETA, 2 minutes. Prayers are answered. And all of our boys and all the services do that job, not only just every day, but every day and night. And so as you leave here today, just remember in your own mind, say a prayer of thanks for the young men and women we have serving us. Okay, everybody, that's it. You can do whatever you want to do.